Okay guys, in today's video I'm working on my 57 Chevy project. In today's video I'm hoping to get a transmission in the car and a shifter in it. And then measure out a drive shaft and stuff and try to get the drive line finished up on this car so I can start putting the body together on it. So in the last episode I posted a video on me getting someone stealing my stuff. Two of those things were 2 Muncie transmissions, and I gotta say I'm a little disappointed in the comments that I was reading. A lot of y'all said that, well, I mean, forgive me if I read it wrong, but it's okay for that guy to go into my junkyard and steal my stuff because it looked abandoned. I'd like to point out that the gate was locked. You didn't see a door on the gate because someone had broken into it. And I'm assuming it was this guy, because I had been to that junkyard in the past 6 months. I know that 6 months sounds like a long time, but it might have been 3 or 4 months I was there last. And there was a door up, and now there is not a door up. So the lock was busted and the door was pushed down. So there was a door. Other people commented that there were no trespassing signs to be seen. There were several no trespassing signs. They just weren't seen because I didn't want to give away my location where I keep my stuff. So there were several no trespassing signs up. The reason why it looks abandoned out there is because if I had it cleared out for everybody to see, I would feel like there would be more people helping themselves to my stuff. So that's why it's all growed up, for privacy. So I think I've covered everything. I covered there was no trespassing signs, there was a gate up, and there is a fence up. Granted, it doesn't go all the way around the area, but normally it's a lot harder to get in. So you'd have to work a lot harder to get in. So there's that. And one more thing. I've always been taught, growing up, if I didn't pay for it, or if it wasn't given to me, it's not mine. I don't care if I walk by someplace and there's a cool item sitting in the grass. I'm not going to go over there and pick it up because that belongs to somebody. So I just had to vent on that because I was pretty disappointed with the comments. And yeah, so that's that. I had to stir up the pot there a little bit, and now what I've got to do is I've got to go pick up a new transmission for this car. So I actually went on Facebook Marketplace and I found a transmission and shifter for this car that I want to get, and it's gonna cost me, where is it, so because my transmissions got stolen, I've got to buy another transmission. And here it is right here. So a Saginaw 4-speed for $450. It's not a Muncie, it's a Saginaw. I cannot find a Muncie transmission for less than $1,000. And I was hoping for my Muncie transmission that I had rebuilt, that was in the trunk of that car, that was locked up in the trunk of a car. So that's called breaking and entering, I'm assuming, because they had to break into the trunk to get to my items. So I've got to buy a new transmission. So I'm going to go spend $450 to go get a transmission to put in this car. So guys, I will see you when I get back from getting that transmission, it's a 3-hour drive away. 3 hours and a half, 3.5 hour drive away to get this transmission. That's the closest one I can find. So I will see y'all in 7 or 8 hours. Okay. All right, guys, it turned into an 8-hour trip to come pick up this transmission. So I've got it in the back of my truck. Cost me $450 cash and about $150 in gas. About $160 in gas, and $500 to pick up this, or $450 to pick up the transmission. So $450, $550, about $600. I sure hope this transmission's worth it, because it was 8 hours out of my day. Totally took up my whole Sunday. Good God. So I've only got tomorrow to try to figure out, tonight and tomorrow, to figure out how to get this in the 57 Chevy. So originally I was gonna do this older style 3-speed manual transmission, and I was like, no, I want a 4-speed. And like I said, I was gonna go get the 4-speed, excuse me, out of my junkyard, and someone beat me to it. Sorry, rascal. Anyhow, $600 later, $600 and something later, I've got a 4-speed transmission, not as good and not as light as the one I wanted. So I'm gonna crawl up underneath this car, try to place the transmission, and mark out a spot in the floor so I can cut out a hole for the shifter. Before I waste too much time on putting this underneath the car, let's go through the gears. All right, let's check it out. So this should be, that should be first. Everything feels good inside the transmission so far. Here's second. Third. And fourth. That's 1 to 1. Feels good. Oh. That should be reverse, and it is. So it has all the gears and it feels pretty good. So I'm going to take this shifter off and we're going to be sticking it underneath the car. Oh crap, I got to put a shifter fork in it. So we'll get this under the car, and then I got to figure out what I have to do to get it ready for the transmission. All right, so let's crawl up underneath this car and see what we've got. I do know that I had, I was missing a clutch fork, and I'm hoping it's under here. Let's crawl up under here. All right, so I've got bearing. Let me set this camera up so we can see what we've got here. All right, so I did find another clutch fork, and I'm not sure I can install this in the car with the bell housing on. This is a real bummer. Can't get in there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to remove the bell housing and install this clutch fork in there, and then I can see about installing a release bearing and stuff. So gotta come out. Sweet, the clutch fork is in there and it looks like it's in pretty good shape. So all I got to do is put the transmission in place, and hopefully that'll get me going. So transmission next. I can see now that I've got to cut the floor out just to get this thing up in there. So I've got to, yeah. So I'm going to mark the floor just by scratching the floor roughly where the shifter is going to be at. And really 3 fingers between this and the bell housing. So, yep, gonna cut a hole in the floor. So I'm gonna cut a hole in this floor because it's not an original 57 Chevy floor anyway, so I don't feel bad at it at all. I don't feel bad for cutting it at all because made in Taiwan. It'll be fine, right? All right, let's get to cutting a hole. I probably should check and make sure there's nothing on the other side of this real quick. Instrument cluster stuff there. All right, here we go again. You know what? Since the hole is in there, I'm going to drill through the top so I don't get rained on. All right. Now I can use a Sawzall to cut it out the rest of the way. So I'll clean this up a little bit better later on. But meanwhile, I should be able to get this shifter up in there now. Oh. Baby. Oh, it's been a long time since I've done this. It's getting there. It looks like I'm gonna have to trim this a little bit more, but I can do it. Oh man, it's right there. Come on. Alright, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to. So as y'all saw, I had trouble getting the transmission up in there, and I went through everything. I checked the pilot bearing. Pilot bearing's fine. I checked the clutch alignment. Clutch alignment is fine, because I have the little tool for checking all that stuff. Everything's fine. And then I got to thinking, 1957 bell housing, 1970s transmission could be an issue. And I think I might have found what the issue is. So what we have here is like a 1960s Chevrolet transmission and 60s Chevrolet truck bell housing. So what I've got is a nice little measuring tool. We're measuring the bearing, the pressure plate bush bearing here. So we got this tool and we're checking where this piece slides into the bell housing. So this transmission actually went with this bell housing. So we're going to check the bell housing that's in the car and the transmission bearing retainer. So let's go under there and check it out. So let's check. That looks about the right size. Now let's check the transmission. Oh, bingo, look. I can't fit that on there. So there's a difference on this piece right here. So Chevrolet is really good about keeping things fairly close to being the same. So I'm going to measure the bolt spacing on this. We might be able to take this piece off of this transmission and swap it with the other one. So let's just check. Let's close. I'm gonna basically go from middle to middle on this. There we go. Alright, so I've got that figured out. Now let's go to the other transmission. Alright, what a pain getting in and out of this car. Crap. That's the difference. So this transmission will not fit on this bell housing. Let me check something else. I've got another transmission, so we're going to check it out. Okay, so I've got another transmission over here in the shop. I'm going to just check it out. So it is right here. Okay. Checking that out. Alright, cool. So this transmission will fit in the car. Let's check the bolt. Bingo, baby! Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this snout and I'm going to take it off of the other transmission over there, and we're gonna swap them out, and we'll be able to bolt this transmission in. Yes. So this is exactly why I keep so much junk around. For this exact reason. You know how long it would take me to order stuff that would fit? Or find it? So I'm able to rummage through my parts and get the stuff that I need for this build. That's why I got so much crap. Cool deal. This is exactly what I needed. We're going to get it cleaned up, get it transferred over to the other transmission, and I'm going to put the other piece back on this transmission. And the gasket is done. So I'm going to have to, got it off, I'm going to have to clean up this gasket surface and go from there. All right. Cool deal. Now this only fits on one way, and that'll be this way. Is it gonna work? That one threads in. Sweet. Need to get some of this grease on here off of this one. Get everything lubricated up. And let's reinstall this transmission, shall we? Please work. So unfortunately, I've run out of time. The transmission is in, as you can see. The bolts are tight. Everything's together. The shifter is going through the hole. Next video I should be figuring out drive shaft, brakes, all that stuff. So unfortunately, with the theft of my other transmission, it kind of tied things up and I had to spend a whole day getting another transmission. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Sorry it was didn't get a whole lot done, but hey, what you gonna do? So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see y'all later. Happy Father's Day, Dad.